The building on Elm Street. The skeletal frame of the building on Elm Street glowed at the pale October sky. Sarah watched from across the road, the wind whipping strands of her hair across her face. Steel girders, raw and orange with rust proofing, rose with impossible speed. It had only been a week since they'd poured the foundation, a muddy concrete expanse she'd briefly glimpsed while rushing Lily to school with a forgotten permission slip. Now, it was this, a monument to someone else's vision. She remembered the heady scent of blueprint paper, the satisfying click of her mechanical pencil, the late nights fueled by lukewarm coffee, and the thrill of seeing a design materialize from sketch to steel and glass. Now, her days were filled with peanut butter sandwiches, the sing-song drone of ABCs, and the never-ending quest for matching socks. A valuable pursuit, undeniably, but a horn blared, jolting her back to the present. The school bell shrieked its afternoon summons. She smoothed down her sweater and forced a smile. Time to retrieve Lily and Tom. "Mommy!" Lily shrieked, launching herself into Sarah's arms. Tom, ever the pragmatist, trailed behind, clutching a drawing of a lopsided dinosaur. "How was school, my loves?" Sarah asked, careful to keep her voice light, her gaze averted from the looming structure across the street. "Awesome. Mrs. Davison read us a story about a pirate." Lily chattered, her words tumbling over each other in her excitement. Tom simply held up his drawing. "Roar," he said solemnly. As they walked home, Sarah found herself subtly angling their route away from Elm Street, her pace quickening. She couldn't shake the feeling of being an imposter, a fraud. Did the other mothers at the school harbor secret, unfulfilled ambitions? Did they, too, feel a pang of something akin to grief when confronted with the tangible evidence of their abandoned dreams? Later, after the kids were bathed and tucked in, their small faces illuminated by the soft glow of nightlights, Sarah found herself in the attic. The air was thick with dust and the scent of forgotten things. She pulled down a large, flat portfolio from a precarious stack of boxes. Inside, carefully preserved, were her architectural drawings. A rendering of a community center bathed in sunlight. Blueprints for a sustainable housing complex. A whimsical sketch of a playground shaped like a giant tree. Each one a testament to her passion, her skill, her former life. She ran her fingers over the smooth vellum, the ghost of graphite clinging to her skin. A wave of longing washed over her, sharp and unexpected. The building on Elm Street, still visible from her attic window as a dark silhouette against the twilight sky, seemed to mock her quiet existence. It was a challenge, a reminder of what she had left behind. And perhaps, a whisper of what could still be. 8 years ago. 8 years ago, the tiny nursery smelled of lavender and hope, a stark contrast to the controlled chaos of Sarah's mind. Mark sat on the rocking chair, its gentle creaks a counterpoint to the twins' synchronized snores. "So," he said, his voice low, "what are we thinking?" Sarah chewed on her thumbnail, a habit she'd thought she'd kicked in college. "I don't know. I really don't. Daycare is daycare. And expensive. And..." Lily coughed, a wet, rattling sound. "And I just don't know if I can hand them over to strangers yet." Mark reached for her hand, his thumb stroking her knuckles. "We agreed we'd figure it out together. And, look, your job, it's demanding. The hours or the travel. Mine is more predictable." Predictable. That was one word for it. Secure, reliable, boring were others that sprang to Sarah's mind. Her work as a graphic designer, on the other hand, pulsed with creative energy, even on the most mundane projects. But that energy demanded constant attention, a vigilance she wasn't sure she could offer alongside the demands of motherhood. A week later, Sarah stood in her sterile, modern office, surrounded by cardboard boxes. Her award for the Henderson account sat forlornly on her desk, the polished chrome catching the fluorescent light. The email ping was relentless, each one a reminder of projects she wouldn't be leading, deadlines she wouldn't be meeting. She felt a strange mix of liberation and panic. "Leaving us for the little ones?" her colleague, David, asked, leaning against her doorframe. He clutched a steaming mug of coffee. Sarah forced a smile. "Something like that. They're lucky to have you. But, seriously, don't become one of those mums who only talks about baby food. We'll miss your brain around here." His words, meant to be encouraging, felt like a tiny jab. Would she become someone unrecognizable, defined solely by her children? Back at home, she cradled Lily and Tom, one in each arm. Their small bodies, warm and pliant, pressed against her. The weight of them, both literally and figuratively, settled on her chest. This was it. No more late nights brainstorming, no more adrenaline rushes from landing a big client. Just this. This overwhelming, all-consuming love. And a nagging, persistent whisper in the back of her mind. What have I done? An unexpected email. The patter of small feet overhead signaled the end of quiet time. Nap time, officially kaput. Her gaze flickered from the ceiling to the laptop, its whirring from a solitary drone against the rising tide of domestic activity. An email pinged in the corner, the sender, David Chen. Just his name sent a flutter, a ghost of remembered ambition, through her. Callaway Architects felt like another lifetime, a faded photograph tucked away in a forgotten album. Or perhaps only 5 years. Motherhood had twisted time, making it elastic, stretching it to accommodate snack times and spontaneous dance parties. She clicked the message open. Subject: Thinking of you. Northwood Community Center Competition. Sarah. David's exuberance seemed to leap from the digital page. Hope everyone's well. Knowing how swamped you must be, I still had to share this. It instantly brought your evergreen project to mind. A design competition for a new community center in Northwood, a fantastic chance to make a real difference. The deadline gives you a few months to develop a proposal. Briefs attached. Let me know what you think. There it was, a PDF promising modernity and light, a structure cradled by trees. A wave of conflicting emotions washed over her, yearning and trepidation. Evergreen. Good memories resided there. She'd poured passion into that project, fueled by lukewarm coffee and the sheer thrill of creation. Could she even summon that focus now? The children's light steps had evolved into a full-blown chorus of toddler voices. Thomas's demand for juice vied with Lily's off-key rendition of A Twinkle Twinkle. Her life was abundant, brimming over, yet. The email was a hairline fissure in a dam holding back a reservoir of unfulfilled dreams. A community center. A chance to build, to shape, to manifest something beyond meticulously stacked blocks or balanced dinners. Her fingers danced across the screen, skimming requirements, budget constraints, and the overall vision. Northwood. A town she'd only ever passed through. A place longing for a center. Could she dare? Should she even entertain such a notion? The boldness of the idea brought a sheen of sweat to her palms. She was rusty, disconnected, utterly foolish. What was she even considering? She wasn't an architect, she was a mother. But David had remembered. David, aware of her talents, who had witnessed her at her best. A current of warmth flowed through her, banishing some of the ever-present insecurity. Maybe, Just maybe. The forgotten sketches. Sunbeams, fractured by grime, illuminated swirling particles in the attic's stale air. Lily recoiled with a sneeze, fanning her face. Are you certain it's up here, Tom? This place is practically a museum of forgotten things. Already immersed in exploration, Tom unearthed a flat portfolio bound with ribbon the color of faded roses from behind a pile of threadbare blankets. Jackpot! The musty scent of aged paper followed them downstairs, clinging to their clothes like a second skin. In the kitchen, Sarah battled a stubborn jar of pickled cucumbers. What's all the racket? She inquired, wiping her hands. With a flourish, Lily deposited the portfolio on the table. We discovered buried treasure. Intrigued, Sarah loosened the aged ribbon. Within, shielded by sheets of brittle paper, lay her dormant dreams, architectural renderings. Detailed studies of sleek, unbuilt homes, meticulously drafted blueprints for community spaces, soaring visions of skyscrapers that existed only in her imagination. A wave of poignant remembrance swept over her, a glimpse into a life not fully lived. The twins were mesmerized. Mom, you created these? Tom Jr. traced the elegant lines of a library design, his eyes wide. A lifetime ago, as Sarah murmured, a subtle melancholy coloring her voice. Lily held up a rendering of an eco-friendly housing project. These are breathtaking. Why did you abandon it all? Sarah shrugged, avoiding their gaze. Life intervened. You two arrived. There simply wasn't room for everything. But you were so gifted. Tom protested, flipping through the pages. The precision. The imagination. There's a competition, Lily interjected, recalling the email. From, or a former colleague. You should enter. Sarah gave a dry chuckle. Don't be absurd. I'm hopelessly out of practice. I haven't held a T-square in ages. You have to submit something. Tom urged, his blue eyes reflecting her own determination. You're the most talented designer I know, even if your creations are currently limited to Lego fortresses. Lily added, her voice ringing with sincerity, Mom, you deserve this. You deserve to show the world your talent. Taking Sarah's hands, she continued, it's like reclaiming a lost piece of yourself. Secret designs. The house stilled at last. An almost palpable hush descended, overlaid with the soapy memory of lavender from bath time and the refrigerator's quiet thrum. Liam and Lily were down for the count, lost in their respective dinosaur and unicorn kingdoms. David, upstairs, rumbled gently in slumber. Sarah waited a cautious 20 minutes, straining for any telltale sound of waking. Then, she slipped from beneath the covers. The spare room, her refuge, overflowed with cast-off clothes, deflated holiday cheer, and a shaky card table rescued from garage limbo. She edged inside, the floorboards offering a soft complaint. The sudden glare from the desk lamp made her squint. A forgotten mug of tepid coffee awaited, a silent promise of revival. She downed it quickly, the bitter taste a welcome jolt. Her sketchbooks, filled with orphaned concepts and long-dormant dreams, lay scattered on the table. Sarah chose a clean sheet and picked up her charcoal, its familiar heft grounding her. Her thoughts collided, Mark's email. This unforeseen opening. The spectre of failure. The guilt that shadowed her days. She began, lines hesitant at first, growing more assured as inspiration flooded back. A gleaming office tower materialized, its glass skin mirroring the vibrant urban landscape. She fleshed out details, a verdant rooftop retreat, solar panels glinting in the sun, a playful sculpture anchoring the plaza below. Ideas surged, a long-suppressed torrent finally unleashed. Time dissolved. Only the scrape of charcoal, the whisper of paper, and the grandfather clock's measured cadence punctuated the quiet. She conceived meeting rooms with supportive seating and collaborative hubs awash in daylight. Sustainable materials, inventive designs, a palpable sense of community. She wove it all into her vision. As the first blush of dawn painted the edges of the blinds, Sarah reluctantly drew back. The familiar pang of guilt tugged at her. Another day of packed lunches and pretend tea parties beckoned. Yet, the sheer joy of creation, the rekindled ember within, was intoxicating. With meticulous care, she gathered her drawings, rolling them tightly and concealing them at the back of the closet, behind faded albums. She banished any trace of charcoal from the table, rinsed the forgotten mug, and clicked off the light. Back in bed, sleep evaded her, her pulse still racing. The secret portfolio felt both thrilling and perilous, a forbidden indulgence. What if David discovered her clandestine passion? What if Mark's expectations proved unreachable? What if she had lost her edge? Yet, beneath the surface of doubt, a defiant voice whispered, "Oh, what if you haven't, E?" Mark's discovery. Mark found them tucked away in the back of the hall closet, behind the Christmas decorations and the rarely used fondue set. Rolled tightly and secured with a faded ribbon, they looked intentional. Curiosity gnawed at him. Sarah had always been meticulous about organizing. Everything had its place. He carefully unwound the ribbon. The closet's dimness couldn't hide the intricate lines and vibrant colors. Architectural drawings. Detailed blueprints. And then, sketches. Whimsical, gravity-defying structures that bloomed with impossible gardens. Sarah's style. He remembered seeing similar designs years ago, scattered across her tiny studio apartment. Before they were married. Before the kids. He carried the rolls into the living room, spreading them out on the floor like a map to a forgotten land. Sarah walked in, her face instantly paling. The mug she was holding trembled, splashing coffee onto her hand. "Mark! What are you?" "These are incredible, Sarah," he said, tracing the curve of a particularly audacious bridge design. "Why didn't you tell me?" She knelt beside him, gathering the scattered sheets. "They're nothing. Just old ideas." "Nothing? These are brilliant. Remember that architectural competition you were going to enter before you got pregnant with Lily? Is this," as Sarah sighed, the fight draining out of her. "Yes. I started sketching again. Just to see if I still could." "And can you?" He grinned, holding up a rendering of a building that looked like a giant, blossoming flower. "I think you definitely can." She avoided his gaze, fiddling with the edge of a blueprint. "It's pointless. I'm out of touch. The industry has moved on. Besides, who would watch the kids?" Mark gently took her hand. "Sarah, you're not out of touch. And we'll figure out the kids. My mom loves having them, and maybe we can even hire someone part-time. This is important. You're important. You deserve to pursue your dreams too." He pointed to one of the drawings. "This one. This could win the whole competition, you know." A flicker of something, hope, maybe, sparked in her eyes. "You really think so?" "I know so." He squeezed her hand. "Tell me about the competition. When's the deadline?" Sarah's shoulders relaxed, a small smile playing on her lips. "It's soon. A month." "A month." Okay. We can do this. We will do this. Mark stood up, energized. First things first, let's get you some proper coffee. And then, we make a plan. The whole closet felt less like a storage space now, and more like the entrance to a new beginning. Balancing act. The tower of blocks teetered, mirroring Sarah's precarious day. Careful, Leo, as she cautioned, eyes darting between her son's wobbly construction and the half-finished logo design mocking her from the laptop screen. 5 minutes. That's all she had before the client call. Leo, oblivious to the looming deadline, giggled, adding another block. The tower swayed and crashed, sending him into fits of delighted shrieks. Sarah scooped him up, planting a kiss on his chubby cheek. Okay, buddy, time for snack. Raisins and a distraction YouTube video bought her a precious 15 minutes. She attacked the logo, tweaking the font, adjusting the color palette. Doubt gnawed at her. Was it too bland? Too trendy? Had she completely lost her edge during these past few years of playdates and potty training? The email from Mark, her ex, offering her the design gig had felt like a lifeline, a confirmation that she wasn't just a mummy anymore. But now, staring at the screen, she felt like an imposter. The client call was a blur of jargon she barely remembered and polite, yet pointed, critiques. She ended the call feeling drained, the confidence she'd carefully constructed crumbling. The house, usually a source of comfort, now felt like a prison. Toys littered the floor, laundry overflowed the basket, and dust bunnies danced in the afternoon sunbeams. Exhaustion settled in, heavy and suffocating. After Leo was finally asleep, she stared at the clock. 9 p.m. The revised design was due in the morning. She brewed a pot of coffee, the bitter aroma filling the quiet house. The night was a blur of caffeine-fueled focus. The glow of the laptop illuminated her face, highlighting the dark circles under her eyes. She sketched, refined, scrapped, and started again. Outside, the first hint of dawn painted the sky a pale grey. Finally, at 5 a.m., she leaned back, her eyes burning, and stared at the finished design. It was good. Really good. A surge of pride mixed with bone-deep weariness washed over her. She attached the file to an email, hit send, and then collapsed onto the sofa, the weight of responsibility, self-doubt, and exhaustion finally claiming her. She drifted into a fitful sleep, dreaming of balancing blocks and impossible deadlines. The presentation. The email chimed mid-afternoon, interrupting Sarah's battle with a tenacious stain defiling Lily's beloved unicorn tea. Design competition. Finalists announced, blared the subject line. Her pulse quickened, a frantic drumbeat against her ribs as she opened it. After a cursory glance at the introductory pleasantries, her gaze snagged on the vital words, "Is Sarah Miller, Project Nightingale." A triumphant cry burst from her, sending the cat airborne. "I made it! I'm a finalist," as she exulted, sweeping Lily into a joyous embrace. The initial elation, however, soon curdled into a knot of anxiety tightening in her gut. A presentation loomed. Before a panel. Expert judges, no less. It had been ages since Sarah had presented anything more demanding than a summary of a novel. That night, the kitchen table, normally a vibrant chaos of schoolwork and art projects, was commandeered by research documents and design sketches. Tom discovered her there, forehead buried in her hands. "Rough day, hon?" The presentation, as she moaned. "I have to pitch my design, live, to a bunch of pros. I'm going to bomb. They'll eat me alive. I'm so rusty." Tom gathered her close. "Hey, You conceived something amazing. Something with the potential to make a real difference. Don't let a little public speaking intimidate you. Lily, eavesdropping, chirped, "It will help, Mommy." A lucky banner. And so began a flurry of activity. Glitter, colourful paper, and unrestrained youthful energy transformed a blank expanse into a shimmering ode to Sarah's ingenuity. "You go, Mommy," it proclaimed in unsteady script, embellished with stick-figure healers and a brilliant sun. The following days dissolved into a whirlwind of rehearsals. Tom assumed the role of the critical evaluator, peppering her with challenging inquiries. Lily constituted the enthusiastic audience, showering her with applause after each practiced phrase. The banner presided over their efforts, a constant reminder of her purpose. Presentation day dawned, clear and invigorating. Standing in the wings, clutching her prepared remarks, Sarah felt the familiar sting of apprehension. She closed her eyes, inhaled deeply, and conjured Lily's radiant smile. Stepping onto the stage, she squared her shoulders and began. The words poured forth, fueled by fervor and a revitalized conviction in her capabilities. She articulated the urgent need for progressive healthcare solutions, the capacity of Project Nightingale to revolutionize patient care. She observed approving nods, absorbed expressions. No ridicule. Just genuine engagement. As she concluded, a wave of exhilaration washed over her. She had confronted her anxieties and emerged, not untouched, but emboldened. More assured. Herself. A new beginning. The email blazed from her laptop screen, the subject line a defiant pronouncement, a congratulations, Sarah Miller. Her pulse quickened, a frantic tattoo against the quiet backdrop of the house. Almost overlooked amidst digital clutter, school notices and grocery circulars. Could this actually be happening? A click, and the words swam before her. It was undeniably real. Winner of the Reimagine Your Career competition. A shaky exhale. I actually won, as she breathed, the sound absorbed by the still air. A dizzying rush of disbelief mingled with pure joy. She reread the message, relishing each carefully chosen phrase, each compliment aimed at her innovative plan for eco-friendly kids' apparel. Validation, a flavor more exquisite than she remembered. Later, after tucking the children in, she sat with Mark at the kitchen table, the pendant light casting a warm glow on his face. I need to go back, as she declared, the words spilling out. Mark's answering smile reached his eyes as he took her hand. I had a feeling. What are you thinking? Part-time, as she stated, her voice gaining strength. Something stimulating, but that still allows me to be present for the kids. They spoke late into the night, balancing possibilities, scrutinizing budgets, mapping out strategies. Mark proved a bedrock of support, offering to shift his own schedule to accommodate her aspirations. They landed on 3 days a week, concentrating on marketing consultation for nearby small businesses. Her first day dawned, charged with anticipation and nerves. She slipped into a classic navy blazer, a ghost of her former professional life, and examined her reflection. Was she making the right choice? Whispers of doubt surfaced, insidious little barbs. But then, the image of that email resurfaced, the victory, the affirmation. She straightened up and walked out. The office was intimate and bright, filled with the stimulating aroma of roasting coffee and the palpable energy of collaboration. Her new team welcomed her with open arms, eager to hear her ideas. By the end of that first day, a long-dormant spark had been reignited, a sense of purpose rekindled. Weeks bled into months, and Sarah discovered her stride. She navigated client meetings and after-school duties, conference calls, and dinner preparations. Some days were a chaotic blur, leaving her breathless in their wake. Yet, she thrived on the challenge, drinking in the intellectual stimulation and the fulfillment of contributing beyond the parameters of her home life. Evenings were now punctuated with helping Lily decipher complex math problems or sharing bedtime stories with Tom, her heart brimming with contentment. She was a mother, a wife, and a working professional. She was Sarah Miller, and she was, at long last, genuinely content. The sensation of disconnection receded, supplanted by an empowering sense of restored confidence and drive.